And Baicheva scores 9.35 for her club's exercise, and she did have that mistake. Yulia Raslikova. Relatively new member of the Russian team. Nearly had a wobble there on that balance, couldn't seem to get her supporting leg in the right place, get the balance right. Unusual turning leap, and that's one of the B elements in the code. Slightly more difficult than your average leap. Well, as usual from the Russian girl, very classical, beautifully executed routine. Perhaps lacked a little bit of soul, a little bit of personality. Nothing really different about it, but very, very well executed. Katerina Serebrenskaya from the Ukraine. Wearing another one of these amazing cat suits. This girl made a huge impact when she made her senior debut last year. Came 5th overall at the World Championships, made all 4 finals. Lovely expressive routine, very fluid movement with the ball. And as usual with the Ukrainian gymnasts, totally extended. But why couldn't she wear just a normal leotard instead of that cat suit? Sort of distracting in a way. Maria Ioannidou from Greece. notice a lot of these girls use coloured apparatus, and more often than not, that's because the lights in these huge arenas are almost blinding, and white apparatus doesn't really show up all that well. So darker apparatus, in theory, should help you catch the things. Well, she certainly held on to her clubs there. One of the younger and therefore weaker members of the Greek team, but doing her bit towards the team total. And 9-4 is the score for Rasliakova. And big cheers for one of the home girls, Rosabel Espinosa. I haven't seen Espinosa around for a while in competition. Competed in Corbeil earlier on in the year. Had quite a good competition there, finished 16th. But certainly that was a very sharp performance on that occasion. Quite a difficult rope exercise, but very, very clean.
Avec le cerceau Kyung-Hui Lee, République populaire de Corée.
And the score for Serebrenskaya, a massive 9.7. Kyung-Hui Lee. Last World Championships of this size in Athens, she was the highest placed Korean. Finished 16th there. And that could have been a disaster. She was a World Student Games winner in Sheffield in 1991, and on that move that she's just tried there, the hand balance bouncing the hoop off the hip, she had a real disaster, and it nearly went horribly wrong on that occasion. Well, as usual with the North Koreans, plenty of tricks in their exercises. But I'd question the choice of music. It seemed to be very badly cut together and not very much related
Avec le ballon, Julia Rosliakova, Russie.
either to the movement or the previous piece of music. Julia Rosliakova. Very good leg strength on that side balance. The leg almost to the vertical. And she held it and held it and held it. Great elevation on the leaps. And good extension there. Espinosa, she gets a 9.25 for that rope exercise. Should keep the crowd happy. Elena Shumskaya. The Ukrainian team pretty much in a process of rebuilding at the moment, because they've had two of the greatest stars of rhythmic gymnastics over the last few years. Alexandra Timoshenko, who's the Olympic champion, and Oksana Skaldina. Those two gymnasts now retired. So it's a case of bringing the younger ones through. Well, you can tell she had a couple of panics on some of those throws, but no mistakes. We've got to take a short break now. Join us again in just a couple of moments. And the poor girl hardly has a chance to walk off the carpet when there's a huge cheer for Carolina Pascual. Pascual one of the most successful Spanish gymnasts of all time. Took the silver medal in Barcelona. Very intense gymnast. Also took a bronze medal at the European Cup in Malaga earlier on in the year. She seems to have gone very stocky though, certainly put on a bit of weight. And maybe linked to the fact that their Bulgarian coach, Emilia Boneva, has now left Spain and gone back to Bulgaria. And perhaps the new coach isn't quite so strict. Hasn't seemed to have affected, though, the quality of her work. Still very, very strong, very positive and confident. And the crowd going wild, certainly like that routine. Shumskaya gets a 9.15. And the Spanish, they have a strong team here, and I have a sneaking suspicion they're in with a very, very good chance of a team medal. A nice roll sequence, straight out of that trap catch. Doing a lot of her catches two-handed though, really taking away from the difficulty of the exercise. I mean, she's playing safe because obviously she feels nervous and doesn't want to drop the ball, but she'll be losing out on the composition side. 8.2, the score for Elena Savi from Cyprus. One of the medal contenders with her first exercise of the evening, Amina Zaripova. The 17-year-old Russian girl is coached by Irina Vena, who's done a lot of work with the British team, and particularly with Debbie Southwick. Amina trains in Novogorsk near Moscow. Well, she's pretty much training 8 or 9 hours a day, as are most of these top gymnasts, training full-time with a mixture of body conditioning, ballet, as well as practicing their exercises.
Avec le ruban, Hélène Vitrichenko, Ukraine.
And again from Zaripova, very classical exercise with lovely extension right through to the toes and great elevation on the leaps. You can see the nerves twitching there in the ankle. Elena Vitrichenko almost asking for trouble starting in a balance like that. And while all these girls are competing today in the team competition and tomorrow too, for a chance to have a crack at the world title, they must make it into the top 26, which is pretty hard going when you consider how many gymnasts are in this competition. It's a lot harder than it used to be because there are so many countries now competing under their own flag. Particularly countries that used to be part of the former Soviet Union. And a lot of those countries are very, very strong gymnastic nations indeed. Still, Chun-Yong scores 8.95 for her ball exercise.
Chypre, cuerda. Avec la corde, Maria Ioannidou, Chypre.
A nation really that's only recently started competing at these big international events. Cyprus. A drop there, but got the rope back together quickly. Oh dear, another trip. Incidentally, these ropes, there's nothing really special about them. It's simply a rope that you'd buy from a boat yard. There's no weights or tape on it of any sort. Just a couple of knots on the end to help with the catches. And each rope is cut to suit the girl's height. Well, a couple of errors in there, and really they were down to bad technique. Things like bent arms or not picking her feet up. You can see there the rope touching against the body and That'll be a deduction. Vitrichenko, she gets a 9.35 for her ribbon exercise. And a good reception again for the Spanish girl, Carmen Acedo. Fourth overall at the Olympic Games, fourth at the World Championships last year, but she took the silver medal on ball. Very much her strongest piece. And that's a very difficult catch. Centimetre perfect the throw had to be, and it was. Fantastic routine. That is one of the best ball exercises we've seen today from Acedo. It's a new routine. This is the first time that she's done it in big competition. Very, very dramatic and extremely difficult. And that's as difficult as any of the exercises we've seen today. Hui Gyun Lee. This girl trains at the Institute of Sport in Pyongyang. And her trainer's called Kim Duk-suk. Don't know why that makes me laugh. Did well to catch that double throw on that double illusion turn. The clubs really came apart in the air, and she had to judge that catch very carefully indeed.
Avec le ruban, Amina Zaripova, Russie.
Good leaps, good body movements, but again, not much soul in the exercise. Didn't really achieve any sense of drama because the music was so monotonous. Zaripova with ribbon. Great flexibility on those split jumps. She arches the body right back to the leg, and that really increases the difficulty of the jump. Well, I have seen her make a mess of ribbon exercises in the past, but certainly no mistakes there. Very sharp routine, very snappy choreography.
Stop talking, everybody. And cue again.
The score for Carmen Acedo, a massive 9.7, and very, very well deserved. It's the joint highest mark of the day. Katerina Serebrenskaya. Now she should be brimming with confidence, knowing that she's already scored a 9.7 to count towards her team total. But better than that, that's the joint highest mark of the day, and that must be a real confidence booster for her, because almost without a doubt she'll qualify for the competition too. And she knows now that she can score higher than Maria Petrova. Great performance again by Serebrenskaya. Very bubbly and technically very, very good. Superb elevation on all the leaps. And the good thing about Serebrenskaya is she really genuinely looks like she's enjoying the performance. Elena Sava from Cyprus. Not much fun when you've got to follow a performance like that. I remember when I was competing, you always looked at the draw to find out who you followed on, and just prayed to God that it wasn't the world champion or someone. Well, you can see that the Cypriot gymnast still very inexperienced at top competition. Still a long way to go, but I'm sure they'll get there. Need to work on the body conditioning and apparatus handling. Tali Kedoshim from Israel. The only Israeli girl in this group. She finished 27th at the World Championships last year. Good pirouette, kept the leg very high all the way around. That increases the difficulty. Well, she's certainly improved since last year. Very confident in that routine. Looks like she's been preparing very well for this World Championship. And Serebrenskaya score 9.55. Another good mark for her. This girl doesn't care what Serebrenskaya scored because she's got the crowd on her side. Carolina Pascual. From Spain. Where else? Was unusual. She trapped the club with the spare club on its way down. Quite difficult as well, I'd imagine. Massive double throw to finish. Now, she always says that she's a very, very nervous person, but no trace of nerves there whatsoever. Such a confident routine. Sometimes I think she looks a little bit spiky. Doesn't ever relax into an exercise. Everything's very upright. But nevertheless, good content in that exercise. That's one thing about the Spanish girls. Their routines are always very, very difficult. Sil Chun-yong from North Korea. Little bit of a tangle there. She'll lose 0.1 or 0.2 for that. Good throw, flicks the ribbon off the foot. There were some good tricks in that routine, but again, I think the Koreans must all get their music off the same tape.
Inessa Gitsikova, Russia, cuerda.
Avec la corde, Inessa Gisikova, Russie.
New face with a rope. Inessa Gisikova. The Russian team here in Alicante, very young indeed. And they're so depleted now they've lost Kostina. Very sharp, clean routine by this tiny, tiny girl.
Elena Vitrichenko, Ukraine, aro.
Certainly has plenty of personality. I've never seen her work before, so she can't have that much international experience. And Pascual, she gets a 9.6 for that club's exercise. As well as the team gold. Vitrichenko. Ukrainian number 2. A difficult throw to control. That flick from the foot. Hoop can go off in all sorts of directions. She looked very much at ease with that exercise. Or so she should do. She's probably practiced it about 1,000 times.
Chipre, ballon.
Avec le ballon, Eleni Hadjisava.
Good extension. And again, suppleness on that turn. Eleni Hadjisava from Cyprus. Must get quite confusing for the Cypriot team because one of their girls is called Eleni Hadjisava and one of them is called Elena Shava. This girl has the honour of being the first girl from Cyprus to qualify for an Olympic Games. She went to Barcelona. Didn't finish very high, must be said, but still managed to get there. Still a long way to go. Plenty of ways she can improve her performance. Inessa Kizikova gets a 9-1 for that rope exercise. Now the Israeli girl put in a very, very good performance on ball. Can she match it here with clubs? Oh dear, 2 drops so far. strange with the clubs exercise how a drop can really upset the rhythm of the routine. As well as making you even more anxious about the next catch. There's some good content in that exercise. And she's very economical with her movements, that girl. Quite precise, exact worker. And Vitrichenko, she gets a 9.45 for her hoop exercise. The crowd start going mad.
Carmen Acedo, España, cinta.
Avec le ruban,
As they wait for Carmen Acedo
Espagne.
with her rhythm routine. Acedo looking very toned at this competition. Looks like she's been training hard. Quite a tall gymnast. Not quite tall enough to play basketball, which she says is one of her favourite hobbies. Covers the carpet well, does Acedo. Really flies round there. Another great performance from Carmen Acedo. Looking so cool and so confident. She's had this routine a long time. You can almost tell, very at home with it. Almost looks as though she couldn't ever imagine anything going wrong. I'm sure it's going to be pretty close. They look so thin, you hardly think that she could support her own weight. But they're very, very strong. Katri Kalpala. She'll be finishing her competition on clubs. Good performance from the Finnish girl. Looked fairly relaxed through that club's routine, probably knowing that it was her last exercise. Really didn't worry too much and produced a better exercise because of it. A Grisco 9.5 for that ball routine, so she would have had a 9.6. Alenka Ulelova. Ulelova always has very up-to-the-minute music. This piece in particular off Madonna's latest album. I think she must be a secret music freak. Another polished performance from Ulelova, and I think she should be given extra marks for being original in her choice of music, instead of going for the same old tired tunes. Still plenty more action to come here in Alicante. Another group still to work. We'll see them. We've got to take a short break now. Join us again in just a few moments. We're joining Group C in this team competition at the World Championships. The team gold medal will be decided by the end of this evening. First to go in this group, Yulia Bajcheva from Bulgaria. The Spanish team were leading the Bulgarians and the Ukraine team overnight. But I have to say the Bulgarians have a very, very strong chance of taking the gold. Bajcheva, one of the oldest girls in this competition, she's 20, but she took a year off the sport. She broke her leg quite badly. But she's back, and I must say in this competition she really does look on form. Oh, cleverly changed direction for that last throw. It was going slightly to the left, so she moved accordingly. Very quick reaction there. Bulgarians always seem to be very, very good at rope. Inventive and very quick. Tomomi Akubo from Japan with her fan club in the audience. Got an 8.7 on rope yesterday and an 8.9 on clubs. So chasing a 9 really. Covers the carpet well. All the Japanese do, in fact. Race round that square. And she's a pretty small girl.
Andrea
Certainly
Zalai,
very dynamic
Hongria.
gymnast.
Ballon.
Avec le ballon, Andrea Zalai, Hongrie.
Good extension on that leap. Didn't quite get the back leg up on that second leap. She'll lose out for that. Otherwise, sharp exercise. 9.45 the score for Yulia Baicheva. Now she really needs to be getting marks higher than that, just for her own self-confidence, for when or if she qualifies for the top 26 competition. Victoria Freiter from Hungary. Victoria, probably one of the youngest in this competition. She's only 15. Another slight gymnast. The ball almost looks too big for her hand. Of course, it really doesn't make any difference how tall you are or how big your hands are. Ball has to measure between 18 and 20 centimeters in diameter. And it's pretty heavy, weighs 400 grams. It's probably quite a struggle for a little girl like her. Apart from a little wobble at the beginning, which she recovered from very well. Good performance by Freiter. Katarina Skoropinska from Poland. Triple pirouette. Lost a little control on that turn. Just about to say this exercise is going very well, and let's go with the club. Well, just one drop. Shouldn't use too much for that. We'll take a break now. Join us again. We're back with the action in Alicante at the World Championships. Next to go in this group, Maria Petrova. Now she's working in the team competition today, flying the flag for Bulgaria, but I'm sure she has got her sights set on the individual all-round world title. She already has the European title. There's a drop there. Fortunately for her, there's about 3 other girls with the same idea, so it's going to be tough. Oh, beautiful control on that pirouette. That really is her speciality. Keeps the leg high. Doesn't have a problem turning around. And hits it right on the last beat of the music. And if that's not taking a risk, I don't know what is. Great routine, that's so different. That lovely slow start, followed by this series of throws, and each of them with a different sort of catch. And some of those catches extremely risky indeed, especially the traps. But the exercise, very flowing. Miho Yamada. She uses very striking leotard for her club's exercise, I must say. Are a few restrictions on the dress sense in this sport. The gymnast can't wear gold or silver or bronze or have any sort of glittery things sewn onto their leotards. Anything on the leotard must be part of the fabric. And also, leotards can't be cut too high on the leg. I remember an incident at the World Student Games a couple of years ago where virtually every single gymnast was being deducted for having their leotard cut too high. Ended up getting quite ridiculous because half the gymnasts had to use plasters and sellotape to stick the leotard to the side of the legs. It was quite funny. Had to wait for that club to come down. She'd thrown it so high.
Andrea Salai, Hungria, cinta.
And really it looks more impressive if the gymnast times the catch so it's at the last possible minute. And a 9.7 for Petrova, and very well deserved for that ball exercise. She took the risks and it paid off. Andrea Zale from Hungary. In this competition, you can really tell the difference between the younger gymnasts and those more experienced. They don't quite have the poise or the confidence with the apparatus as the older girls do. They tend to just charge through the exercise. Well, she didn't quite charge through that, but it certainly went at some pace.
Polonia, cuerda.
Avec la corde, Eva Zawalinska, Pologne.
Perhaps a question mark over some of the technique. But pretty action-packed all the same. Eva Zawalinska from Poland. See the big scoreboard in the corner behind the carpet, displaying all of the team positions at the moment, but it also shows the individual scores for each of the gymnasts. Scoring in rhythmic gymnastics now pretty complicated, almost like in skating, where the composition mark and the execution mark are separate, both out of 5. Then they're joined together to give the competitor a mark out of 10. Double roll to finish.
Irina Deleanu, Romania, aro.
Avec le cerceau, Irina Deleanu, Roumanie.
Good height on that triple leap sequence. That must be included in the rope exercise. A couple of bent arms in there though. And the judges, well, that's one of their bugbears. Romanian national champion Irina Deleanu. She had a 9:02.5 yesterday and then a 9:1. Oh dear, went for what should have been a relatively simple catch behind the back. And I think just miscued the throw. Went just too far behind.
Canada, ballon.
Avec le ballon,
Always
Camille
seems to happen to
Martin,
Liliano
Canada.
at big competitions. A competition's going well and then one piece of apparatus goes very wrong. Camille Martins from Canada. Canadians seem to have a very mixed time of it on the international circuit. Win lots of medals naturally at the Commonwealth Games. Also do very well at the Pan American Games. And then when they come to the World Championships, never seem to be able to do anything. Best gymnast was Laurie Fung, who won the Olympic medal in Los Angeles in '84. And haven't seemed to be able to produce anyone who could get the same results as she could. Sport now, though, increasingly competitive. There are so many countries competing at championships like these. I mean, entry is almost getting out of hand.
Maria Petrova, Bulgaria, Mazas.
Avec les massues, Maria Petrova, Bulgarie.
Eva Zawolinska, well, she gets a 9.